Hello, everyone. My name is Sandy Placencia Kari, and I serve as WAFCA's Manager of Policy and Member Engagement. Today, we're continuing our effort to highlight the amazing voices and stories within our network of member agencies. We know how much great work is being done every day, and we want to make space for those stories to be seen and shared. I'm thrilled to have Meaghan Henry from Canopy Center with us today, and I can't wait for you to hear more about their work. Welcome, Meaghan. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Sandy. Yes, as Sandy said, I'm the executive director of Canopy Center, and we've been a part of the WAFCA network for a couple of years now. Really grateful for the support that WAFCA provides.
We love to be great partners. But yeah, please take it away. Share a little bit about your organization and the important work that you do.
Yeah, thank you. So Canopy Center is located in Dane County in Wisconsin, and we provide stabilizing services for children who've experienced child abuse or neglect. Our services include safe family interactions, court advocacy for children who are under the protection of the courts, and therapy for children and adult survivors of child sexual abuse and other forms of trauma. And honestly, it is that third program that I referenced that provides the therapy for children, where I identified that WAFCA might be a really wonderful network to be a part of. You clearly are a resource network, and that was part of our inspiration for wanting to be a member and connected with others that are doing this work across the state that might be similar or adjacent to what we're doing here.
What an important job you have that it must be very difficult, but also probably really rewarding to be able to support such an incredible community of really vulnerable, special humans. But yeah, please, if you can share a little bit more about your WAFCA partnership, we would love to hear more about the ways that this collaboration that we have has strengthened the work in your organization.
I think when you're working with children, it's really important that you know others that are doing similar work because there's different hurdles and challenges to supporting children, and particularly supporting families that are at a point in their life where they might be struggling, and being able to connect them with resources is really important. And we ourselves can't be isolated in that work if we want to support the families that need to be connected with their communities and receive the support that's going to be important for them to get back on a path of healthy family dynamics.
Absolutely. And that is one of our biggest hopes with partnerships is that agencies and individuals don't feel like they have to struggle alone and like they can find comfort and support in others. Meaghan, now that you've shared a little bit more about your organization, I would love to know what about your work makes you feel proud or like you've made a difference.
That's a great question. I appreciate you asking it. Our agency gets to partner with vital system responses that respond when children in our community aren't safe. And what makes me really proud to be able to do the work that I do and support the work of the agency is how individualized our services are. No child or family receives identical support. They get a voice in what it is that they need out of what we're going to provide for them. And we're able to adapt and really individualize that support for each child and each family. So it's not cookie cutter. And I think when you consider system responses to families, that individualized piece is really so critical. And it's why I'm so grateful to get to support the work that's being done here, because I think it really matters to connect with people in that one-to-one way. And it's not to say that we're not using those evidence-based practices that are so important for making sure that you are tangibly supporting change for a family and setting them up for a safe future. And so, we know that research shows that having a caring adult makes a big difference for children. And so we work to put that caring adult out into the community. We pull our volunteers from the community and we put them back out into the community to do the support that they're providing to children. And I referenced that we have the therapy program, and they're using evidence-based interventions and evidence-informed interventions just to make sure that there's a foundation for how children are receiving their services, whether that's going to be a play therapy model, implementing elements of that, using trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, or EMDR, those sorts of interventions that are tried and true. So we're showing up for kids, and then we're pulling from these resources. And I think that's another thing that WAFCA does is often support the ongoing education so we can stay informed about what those best practices are.
I think it's so important, and I hope that you're very proud of yourself for this to be able to incorporate evidence-based practice into the treatment and the interventions that you provide for kids and families that you serve. Because you're right, you're not only just showing up for them and being in their corner, but you're using the best of services available to make sure that they can reach safety and happiness and well-being. So thank you for doing that. The next question here is, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about maybe a misperception about your organization, something that you would like for folks to know.
I think a common misperception, we're working in cases where children have experienced child abuse in their home. And I think people have a perception of what that means. It might mean that that child's parent or caregiver doesn't love their child or doesn't want what's best for their child. And actually, the origins of our organization will be celebrating 50 years next year, but back 50 years ago, it was a grassroots organization really working to break that cycle of abuse. What we know is children are, as they're growing, they're making those connections in their brain. What does love look like? What does caring look like? And when they're not responded to with love and care, they may grow up and have a hard time identifying that and identifying safety. And that's where we see that cycle of abuse, where children become the adults in our community that have a hard time finding their safe network of people and identifying who their safe family members are to surround themselves with. And when they lack that understanding, then you can see those semblances of abuse continue throughout generations. And so I think it's bold to think that parents don't care about their children because they're struggling to provide safety for their children. And we see parents show up, and they might be showing up, like I said, very unique circumstances. They might be showing up to understand that they weren't understanding how to discipline their child and help them to learn and understand boundaries. They might show up because they're wanting to have a better ability to understand what safe adults they're going to bring into their home because their children are in their home and those adults that they were bringing in maybe weren't safe. Every circumstance is different, and I'm forever surprised by the different circumstances that bring families and children to us, and I'm in the work all the time. And so I think when you are outside the work, you might make these quick assumptions about, oh, I understand why somebody might need to come to services like those that are provided to Canopy Center. But we get to work with a lot of really loving families in different shapes and sizes. And it's not to undermine the concerns of safety that brought them to us, but just to know that there's a lot of families that work hard to get back on the right path and never meant to be in the situation that brought them to us.
You speak with so much love and care for this work. And I just want to tell you that families are really lucky to have you. And it's amazing to see that our community is full of people that do really good work. I wonder if to wrap things up, you spoke beautifully about your organization and in the beginning a little bit about your partnership with WAFCA. If I were to ask you to highlight something to an agency that is not familiar with the work that we do, what is something that you would highlight in recommending WAFCA as a partner?
When I came into WAFCA, I was really grateful that their membership is really meant to fit the shape of the size of the organization that was coming in. It's not one size. It takes into account what size we are in order to get that membership. And I think I found that to be unexpected. And so I want to definitely make sure that somebody understood that and would reach out to WAFCA and find out a little bit more about the membership and what they could get out of it. And I'll just say through being a part of the network, there's so many different ways to engage. So there's in-person opportunities. There's continuing education opportunities. There's a lot of virtual opportunities, informal and formal training and connection. And all of those different shapes are a wonderful way for somebody across my agency to take part in the work of WAFCA, stay connected to others that are doing this as well.
We love to hear that. Yeah, we certainly understand that in a world in which we try to individualize services for children and families, we understand that agencies need partnerships and collaborations that function in that same manner. So I'm very happy that you're highlighting that. This has been great, Meaghan. We really appreciate your time, and I can't wait for others to hear more about the work that you do.
Thanks for having me join.
Thank you. Bye.